So this is from, I believe it's an article on MLB.com that kind of inspired part of this conversation. The 12 must-watch pitchers in spring training. And the Rangers, who do you think is the most-watched pitcher in spring training? This specific spring training.
I'll go with Roki Sasaki.
Yep, Roki Sasaki, number one.
Shohei
is an honorable mention because they're like, or a wild card because they're like, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe.
Oh, that's right, because they think he's going to maybe pitch more mid-May-ish.
Yeah. Jake deGrom.
So we'll get to him.
All right.
Because Sasaki's 1, Paul Skeens is 2, Max Fried is 3. But then 4 and 5 are both Rangers.
Leiter.
Jacob deGrom.
Rocker.
And Kumar Rocker.
Yeah, I meant Rocker.
So, I mean, I liked your enthusiasm for Leiter,
I meant
though.
to say Rocker.
I was digging a little bit into some Jack Leiter stuff after getting kind of an inside edge education yesterday. Yeah. And it was just, it's interesting on, if you look at some numbers, he looks very fixable, if that makes sense. One, he gets hit pretty hard first pitch. If they swing first pitch, it's like over 900 OPS.
Okay.
So can I make a better first pitch strike?
Yeah.
When he gets behind in the count, he gets killed. So one, if I throw that first pitch down the middle, they seem to hurt me bad. If and I'm talking about Jack Leiter here, if he ends up getting behind in the count 2-0, 3-1, I'd have to go back and look. It was like a 400-something batting average. So, one, can I make a better first pitch where when they make contact in play, I have a much better, let's say, below 200 batting average when they put the ball in play? And then two, can I get ahead in the count a little bit more? Now, he wasn't great with nobody on base, but he was not really good at all with runners on base for the most part. I was looking at his times to home. It's 1.28 when he starts his delivery with a runner on base, getting the ball once the catcher hits the mitt. The league average is 1.4. This is only a wonder. This is like if I was Mike Maddox or I was part of the pitching coaching staff, I would go, hey, is he delivering the ball too quick where he can't deliver a quality pitch? Is he doing such a good job of holding on runners, it's not allowing him to actually throw a quality pitch with runners on base? So I don't know that answer, right? That would be for Mike Maddox and the pitching coordinator and all of those people, Chris Young, to look into and go, 1.28 is fine, but what if we got it to like 1.35?
Yeah.
Would that give him a better ability to really get underneath his legs, have better balance, and throw a better pitch with runners on base? This sounds so simple. It is not. But better first pitch strikes where when you throw it, it's not hit so hard. And then two, hey, are we moving too quick with a runner on base and then it's not allowing you to throw a quality pitch?
Which is interesting because the one, I would have been like, that makes a lot of sense. That one, I would not have identified immediately as like, that's a big part of it. Yeah. That's interesting.
And then I guess the other question is, how much do you want to mess with his mind? I guess spring training is the right time to do it. But how much do you want to mess with what he's thinking when he's on the mound? But that's why this time is allotted for it.
Let me ask you a question about that, because I'm really intrigued by what you just said. How much conversation, in your experience, happens in the off season? Like, I know you get to spring training early, and there's a lot of time, and we've still got like 6 weeks until the season starts. But how much conversation, whether it's between teammates, between the manager, the GM, whatever, how much conversation happens in December, January with people who are like on the roster already?
Not a lot, but some. Now, what I mean by that is like Rocker and Leiter have been working at Vanderbilt. So they're together. But how much are they sharing stuff? Like, these are two young pitchers trying to find their way as a major league pitcher. But how much is Mike Maddox working with them in the offseason? A little, but not a lot. Just making sure they're staying on their routine. Strength and conditioning coach is making sure he's sending them plans that he would like for them to follow. A lot of guys have their own personal strength and conditioning coach, but you're also sending them information where we'd like for you to be here, be there. But I think for Jacob deGrom, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think he spent some time here in Texas in the offseason.
Okay.
Not maybe throwing really competitive bullpens, but throwing a little bit here just to make sure that Mike Maddox and that they kind of had an eye on him, getting him ready to hopefully be a Cy Young candidate this year. But there's a little conversation. There's some, but maybe not as much as you would think, or maybe, I guess in a way, hope. But it's like, it's your time. It's your career. We're here to help, but we're not here to babysit.
I got you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, deGrom's 4, Kumar Rocker is 5. Do you think Kumar Rocker is so high on the list? Like, I get why Jacob deGrom is so high on the list, because you've seen him be like the flat-out best pitcher in the game. Yeah. We haven't seen that for a while. He's coming back from injury. He says he's good to go. It's like Christmas. For Rocker, is it just the excitement and potential from the flashes you saw that you're like, oh, man, if that's true, that could be amazing.
What we saw in the regular season last year, that opportunity to go out there in that first outing
in Seattle.
Just like, wow, like this dude has out pitches. He's able to do these special things, and then he comes back here and gets a little, gets hit a little bit. But you're like, okay, we've seen that he can do it. So I absolutely think the intrigue is there for that.
And
go ahead.
I just wanted to add, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say you'd have to go back several years, but when he was pitching in college, he absolutely looked like he could be the number 1 overall pick.
Yes, especially after his freshman year.
Yeah.
Even his junior year, he looked really good. There was just a little bit of concern of his health. Obviously, he dropped a little bit in the draft, and then the Mets drafted him and really didn't like his health.
Yep.
Now, that being said, I do know the Rangers, look, they're going to be very optimistic. It's their guy. But the Rangers are like, he's ranked too low on these things. To your point, they're like, look, Paul Skeens has blown everybody out of the water on what he was able to do at LSU his junior year, and then what he did in the major leagues last year.
It's unreal to expect anybody else to be that.
And that's what they're saying. But they're like, when Rocker was in college and healthy, he was Skeens-like.
Yep.
Okay.
And so they're like, look, they think that they do have a future ace on their hands. They don't. I would say this, the Rangers don't think he's going to be an ace this year.
All right.
It's like, hey, we're going to get him. They got to make sure to keep him healthy.
Okay.
One. So they have to make sure innings don't get overloaded. So they are going to be making sure as the season, I don't know the exact plan. They are going to be making sure when they get to September, they believe that they're going to win this division going into this season. They want Rocker to be able to pitch in September and October. They don't want to get to September and he's pitched really good, but he already has 120 innings going into the month of September. That would scare them going, we need 20 to 30 innings in this month, plus we're hoping to get another 10 to 20 innings out of him in October. So they are going to monitor his innings, but they also are optimistic that you're about to see when Corey brought up Kumar Rocker after his freshman year, right around COVID or the year after COVID, when you brought him up because he was the talk of college baseball, they believe he's back to that guy.
Ooh, that's exciting as hell. Like that really is that exciting. The velocity's there. Now if he can just continue to pitch, continue to be a pitcher. Somebody asked yesterday, Mike, they were like, what's the difference between what y'all are saying, pitching and throwing? And I said, I was like, well, it's, your out pitches, your ability to hit your locations, the ability to get hitters situationally. There's so much more than just going up there and throwing a ball off the mound.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody. At times, I think that Jack Leiter became a thrower behind in the count in the major leagues, and boy, you better be able to be a Aroldis Chapman with the Cincinnati Reds if you just want to be a thrower.
Yeah, yes.
They're just too good of hitters to just say 3-1, here's my fastball, 98, middle of the zone. Well, all right, you're going to be backing up bases or asking for a new baseball. There's two options in this situation. I tried it, and I tried it throwing a lot slower. You usually are backing up bases or asking for another baseball. So you always have to be a pitcher on the mound. I will even say, like, Emmanuel Clase got hammered in the playoffs. He had a .6 ERA.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if pressure, I don't know what happened to him, but man, when you become a thrower on the mound and you're not thinking at all and you just think your stuff is going to do it, that's why so many guys throw 95, 97 and never throw one pitch in the major leagues because they never figured out how to pitch. They only got into professional baseball because teams drafted them or gave them money going, man, there's a lot of arm there. Gosh, he does this, and they never learn how to pitch.
I hope this makes sense, and maybe you guys are on the same page as me. I am not excited to see deGrom throw in spring training whatsoever. I am going to be nervous every time he steps out there because I'm like, this doesn't count. And I'm going to be nervous when he's out there.
He has to, though. Like, this is that opportunity to face live hitters. He has to. He doesn't have to go out there and go all out.
To Kevin's point, I bet 50% of his games are on the backfield. Because let's just say he gets 3 guys out in 6 pitches. Well, the inning's over in the real game on the big field. And they will do that, I think, as we get later into spring. But to your point, I bet February 22nd might be the first game for the Rangers in spring training. I bet till March 5th or 6th, his outings are on the backfield because they can be like, we want him to throw 15 pitches no matter what. Now, if he gets to 13 and gets the third out, fine. He gets to 17 and gets the third out, fine. But if he gets to 20 pitches in the first inning, they can just say switch. Yeah. Inning's over. Yeah. He throws 6 pitches and gets 3 guys out. They're like, another batter. He's not just going to throw 6 pitches right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I understand you completely being very nervous, even in the regular season when he takes the mound.
Yes.
Like, there's nothing that says that can make us feel good considering what we've seen the last 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of felt like, this is a weird comparison since we're crossing sports, but it kind of felt Anthony Davis-esque when he got here and he was like, hey, I'm ready to try to lift this city up. And I was like, I so badly want to believe that. And I know Jacob does too. Like, you saw all of the emotion when he realized, like, not only was he hurt, but he was really hurt. He was not going to pitch well. Like, you can't fake that level of emotion. And I have no doubt that he wants more than anything to go out there and be like, I'm going to show everybody what I can still do. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes your body's like, that's great. Yeah. Not going to happen.
I'm going to put my cojones on the line here. It could be stupid, but I guess I don't have to deal with it in 2 weeks. I think he's going to stay pretty darn healthy, and he's going to be a top 3 Cy Young candidate. And if he gets hurt at the end of April and can't ever pitch again, you can call me a moron, and I sometimes am anyways. But I do think that you're about to see a very special pitcher for the Texas Rangers.
That 26 starts, 28 starts?
Yeah, I'll say 25-ish.
Okay.
Like 22 to 28.
Okay.
And I know that 22 won't be awesome. That would be missing 10 starts.
Yeah.
I do think they will not have him start over 30 games. No, if he's completely healthy and never says anything's bugging him, they're like, we don't care. You're sitting out this one time through the rotation.
Yeah.
We got to watch how many innings you're throwing.
Does that...
That's a lot of guys on this team, by the way.
Here's a side question. Does that trickle into the playoffs? Like, he gives you a phenomenal, mostly healthy, and the innings are piling up, and he's going to be the first Ranger ever to win the Cy Young. Like, how do you draw the line versus, like, hey, he's awesome in the playoffs. We need him to pitch in the playoffs. And you're like, I don't know. You pitch a lot of innings this year.
Oh, no, he'll pitch if he's healthy.
So you think no matter what?
I think he has the Evaldi year.
I hate saying this. This is... If they Steven Strasburg him, remember in 19,
yes,
he was the best pitcher in the playoffs, and then he never pitched a baseball game. I think the Rangers would live with, we've monitored his innings. We know that he's at pretty much his max. We've made the playoffs. We are going to ride deGrom and Evaldi.
Okay.
And we're going to see if we can win this thing again. Because if we do, I hate saying this, and he never pitches again,
it's okay.
I'd be like, I know that was a lot of money for one awesome year of Jacob deGrom, but if you win another championship because he was healthy and you rode him to game 1 win, game 5 win, game 3 win, game 1 win, game 5 win.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he just went 5-0, dominated baseball, and we're there again. We just won another championship. We hope his arm will be okay after this.